Welcome everyone to the Vermin Sermon. We've got a bit more information about Dirt 5. We've got some information about the Hot Pursuit 2010 remaster. Either it's confirmed or there are just more details around the rumor. And some more information about Project Cars 3, and I hope we get through all of that. And as well as that, we want to talk about marketing and handling games, and what are the signs that you're doing it well, and what are the signs that you are not. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is Dirt 5, because recently they showed some information about the Amplified Edition. And the Amplified Edition, I think it's basically like think of a deluxe edition of a game. You'll get 3 exclusive DLC cars: the Ariel Nomad Tactical, the Audi TT Safari, and the Volkswagen Beetle Rallycross, version, whatever. You get 3 exclusive career sponsors with extra objectives, rewards, and liveries, whatever that means. Just basically more base content. Increased earnings and XP boosts. You get 3 days early access. And then the Amplified Edition basically has a Season Pass built in. It says, as we release post-launch DLC, you get a minimum of 12 new cars, a minimum of 60 new career events with attached sponsors, reward items, yada yada. More exclusive items, and all customization packs, and I'm going to get a little bit into that later. So it has a lot of stuff that it comes with. I think the post-launch DLC stuff is completely fine. You're paying extra to basically get a season pass, fair enough. The 3 days early access, that's, I don't fully have an opinion on that. I feel like if a game is already well made and it's gone gold and you've fixed all the issues that you'd need to fix, so that it's completely ready for launch, but you still have a week to go. In an ideal world, you would just release it early, but I understand why they're not going to do that, and fair enough to them. They know some people are going to be excited and they want to play it early, so I guess they can do that. And I know people are always saying, people don't buy these to play the game early, right? You buy it for the base content, or at least that's what's supposed to happen, right? Back when Forza Horizon 3 happened, I think, people on PC who had the Ultimate Edition couldn't really play the game early because it was very buggy and it didn't quite work, and they had to patch it up a bit. And people are like, man, I paid so much for Ultimate to get it early, right? Now, personally, for me, I think that's a bad decision on your part, but whatever, right?
Sucker.
That opinion aside, right? You can't make the argument, the 3 days early thing is an extra. You should have got it because it comes with all the other stuff alongside the deluxe edition content. But that doesn't change what the customer personally purchased something for. It could have been because they wanted it early, and that's the only real reason. You don't know because you're not them. So whether or not the developers intended it to be, some people are going to buy Dirt 5 Amplified Edition and pay extra for the early access, and that's like a weird point to make but it is true, and it's important to mention that people buy things for different reasons. So you can't really make that argument that, it's just like a bonus. No, maybe you're right that it's a bonus, but whether someone purchases it or not, for that reason is completely up to them, right? So, this is just kind of normal stuff for special editions of games. But here is there's one very minor thing. And then I'm going to go on to what I really want to talk about here. So, what does it mean when it says customization packs? I have no idea. I guess visual customization? Well, they already mentioned livery, so I assume it's not that. You see, I don't really know, because either that's a feature that would be missing from the actual game, right? Or a DLC, right? Like imagine you're playing Need for Speed and all the body kits are DLC. All the customization, you can keep it looking stock, or you have to pay $3.99 to unlock.
I was about
you know
to
what I'm
say,
saying?
that's probably what it is.
That would be awful.
Say the base model Fiesta, there's the R4 model, which is the lower classes, JWRC, the different specs of the cars.
All of those, yeah.
So yeah, technically, yeah. But
that,
yeah,
I don't know how I feel about that. Well, and
if you
also,
had to pay, I guess what it'd be like if you had to pay for the works conversions.
I don't know. Yeah, that could basically be it. We don't 100% know for sure. They'll announce more
Yeah.
details as they go on. So I think day one DLC personally is atrocious regardless of who does it. And there are very few exceptions where it makes a little bit more sense
Well,
or it
what
involves
is the
something that
definition
I
of
don't
day
know.
one DLC again? Is
Say
it like
what?
the idea that it's probably like from the base game that they made is day one
Yes.
DLC? Oh,
Yes.
that's
So
fucked.
so I
That's
was gonna
fucked.
say this, right? Suppose you have a game with 450 cars in it, and it's finished
Yeah.
before the date it's done. Then you decide to release the full game with 440 and call the last 10 of them DLC. Right? So a lot of games actually do this. And some games have special
Yeah.
DLC. So you look at Forza Horizon 4 with its James Bond edition cars for DLC that came out on launch, right? So here's the thing. I don't know much about licensing. So I don't know if it's more expensive to have those licensed with the full game or licensed as DLC. I really don't know, right? Because people are like, okay, well, they have to make money from it somehow, right? Like look at
Probably the full
Porsche.
game that they're paying for the James Bond.
Yeah,
Are
it
they?
probably would be
Yeah.
more
Okay.
expensive. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't, right? Like the thing is, the problem here is
No,
I
it
don't
definitely
know.
would be, but how expensive would it be? Is it
Mm.
enough to like? Is it enough to warrant having to pay the shit as extra?
Yeah, like when they're releasing the Porsches in Horizon 2 and Motorsport 4 and the other stuff, oh, it's DLC because they have to pay for the Porsche license. Don't they have to pay for every other license too? Like, what are you talking about, right? They
No,
want obviously the
what it
reason
is?
the real reason is they
How
just
much
want to
of
make
this
more
car
money
tax?
from it. But
Like how much?
It's kind of
is, like, the
it's kind of
cost
like
the
how much
average
one to
car pay?
2012 did it?
what do you mean?
Like let's say Forza Horizon 4 has a new car pack. Say 4 new cars. How much would that be? Because Need for Speed, how much was it for the F1?
£5 each.
Oh
It
my
was
gosh,
£5 each.
it was
Bro,
$5 or something.
Because the reason why that's crazy is because in Tekken 7, a DLC character and like a true DLC character, like Negan from fucking Walking Dead is in that game. That's definitely was made post launch.
Yeah.
But with that character, and it's the same price as the McLaren F1. But my thing is, with cars, you kind of drive them the same. Negan plays so fucking strange. I have no idea how to use them. Like it's so different. And I'm like, yeah, this is way worse.
That's different.
I got Negan for $5.
Yeah, but
I don't use them, but
the
damn.
the thing I was trying to say is, yes, it is gonna cost some for licensing, right? That just means they want to make profit off of it. But you
Pretty much.
could have decided to make a loss for it, I guess, for your community if you wanted to have a
No, 'cause
Porsche
that
DLC. If you wanted to pay for the Porsche license, right? I guess at the time, because when it was exclusive in EA and then basically borrow it, you could have done that, released cars for free, and then you would have lost money from that. But like if you wanted to do that for the community, that's what they ended up kind of doing anyways. Because there was a Porsche pack in Horizon 3, and then there were Porsches that you got through Forzathon, right? So we're like, okay, how's that gonna happen? It's simple. It's because you don't have to have it be paid DLC. They want to do it so that they can make profit, which is understandable.
How much was the James Bond car pack?
I should have wrote that down somewhere, but
The reason why I'm curious
I don't
about
remember.
that is I wonder if they do have to make money, just to break even with the license. But I wonder how much that is and how much the markup of profit they're going to make is. I wonder what percentage of this profit.
That's got to be interesting. So again, that's the case, and that they could have been free DLC, just like Porsche. Some Porsches were in Horizon 3 through Forzathon, or just in the game. Like the game's gonna have music and car licenses anyway, so whatever. But again, I'm not an expert on this, so I'm just gonna leave it as that. I'll give it to them, right? For the benefit of the doubt, just because I don't know a whole lot about it, I'll say that exception is all right. Fair enough, whatever. But with other games and with other situations, right? Day one DLC is essentially you've made a product and then you've just decided that you're just gonna rip stuff out, and then consider it extra, and that's not. I just think that's a horrible mindset.
When you describe it like that, that shit sounds insidious.
It does.
Yeah,
It sounds like some scammers shit. It's a finesse.
It is. Yeah. What are you saying, Sol?
I'm sure they did that specifically with Most Wanted 2012. Do you remember when I think they made the BMW and all that early, but they
Oh
put that in
yeah.
the DLC expansion thing with the airport as well.
Oh,
I do remember
yeah,
that. Yeah,
that's
because that's what I do. Yeah,
interesting.
that
Yeah,
was a thing. Yeah.
yeah,
But,
Also, I
yep.
was looking at the internet right now, and with Dirt 5, I think the customization pack is literally visual customization. Because on the
oh,
website, it says each car will be visually customizable.
define
Oh,
visual, because
yeah. I don't like.
I,
Is
I
that
think,
body
I think,
kits? Is that
I think,
wheels? Is that what is it?
because they could finesse the fuck out of the term visual. That's so easy to finesse.
I
Yeah, it
think it's just
is.
going to be like grids,
Because visual is what you
with
see.
vinyls.
Hmm.
Oh, that's
But they already mentioned
visual is like
liveries,
anything bar performance. Yeah.
Yeah,
huh? Because I already
I don't
mentioned
know.
liveries in terms
But
of like exclusive things you can get as DLC. So
If you could actually customize cars like the body kits or something,
that would
like
actually be interesting.
Aero, like for
that'd be wild
that-
if you could have like, say, like the R4 like side skirts for like a Fiesta or something, and then have the
Ooh.
WRC like front bumper, and then just remove the rear bumper. If you could do things like
Yeah,
that.
but you know
That-
it's not
that
cool
would
to
save money.
remove to remove the bumper and to have the WRC bumper and the R4 side skirts and all that stuff. It costs $399. That would not be cool.
That's a bit.
That's what I don't want to happen.
That's a.
Want to have
That's a-
happen. Oh
That's a.
man.
bzzzt.
Yeah, I hope they clarify with what they mean with customization packs. But yeah, I just hate this day one and day zero DLC,
Modern
whatever you want to
gaming,
call it.
baby.
Yeah.
every game
Now
puts out- I
We
think,
suckers.
unfortunately,
say what? One more time.
I said every game kind of does that. Unfortunately, the only
A
one I
little
can think
bit.
of that doesn't do it is Cyberpunk. I think.
Yeah, like in terms of like
No,
really
there's a
big games.
lot. The fighting games, don't.
Those
Because
those
the
two.
fighting games know because of the community they have. If they do
Yeah.
shit like that, they are getting viciously flamed and everywhere. Steam
Yeah.
reviews, Twitter, like Instagram, they're not escaping. Like you're getting viciously ridiculed for pulling shit like that.
That's true. That's true. No, you know what? If I'm gonna be honest,
they added a patch, which this was a big, where essentially one character's move, which the best way to counter it was like sidestepping. You couldn't sidestep it. Right, taking me into a
Oh,
fucking rage over that. And,
Yeah.
and guess what? They changed it back to normal in like 48 hours.
nice. You know,
It was
I
a quick
think
response. Most devs don't.
the what's it called?
A community like that,
Yeah,
Yeah, the community's a bit wild.
yeah. The
No, but I mean, like, if that happened in NFS, they could actually make a good game.
actually, I wanted to bring that up
We just
a little bit. In terms of their, I guess, launch DLC or their other like bonuses for their different editions. I thought with Heat the only issue with the deluxe was that they had the Kazil Salim edition cars, which they're already existing cars, but the body kits, you could have just added that in as is in the game instead of having them exclusive. But whatever, right? Even Payback and 2015, like with their pre-order bonuses or their deluxe editions or whatever, right? Like in 2015, you got the M3, but you could have already gotten it, had the same customization parts, and made a livery that looks exactly like it, right? It's basically just giving it to you ahead of time, which is interesting. Like that's really the difference. They're not giving you anything that's exclusive, but they're giving stuff that's extra. And honestly, like I think I'm perfectly fine with earnings and XP boosts and stuff like that, because in 2015 I played that a ton on PS4 when I had it, and I had the deluxe edition on PS4, and I played so much I definitely made use of the 10% savings on money. I 100%.
Oh, I got to the I got to the point where I didn't even need it.
Yeah, I mean, for me
just
too, because
grinded.
I had like $5 or like $6 million, right? Like just
I had,
sitting there.
10
But,
plus
like-
something stupid.
Yeah, because on PC I'm always like kind of low on cash, and so that's just one of those weird things about it. And I bet if I had the deluxe edition, just over time from playing, it would have made it worth it. But back to this DLC idea, I think what it really means is the developers. They make a game, and then you make Dirt 5. It has everything except for those 3 DLC cars, and you say, you know what, this is worth $60, and so we're gonna release the extra stuff as exclusive because it makes it worth more. And so I have to ask you, right? Despite not being racing games, when you compare that to GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption, any full fledged Nintendo title, right? Those are also $60, and I understand they're not racing games, but you're gonna tell me that Dirt 5 with its content, and here's the thing, Dirt 5 hasn't come out yet, so maybe I'm gonna eat my words, but that's gonna be worth $60, and so you adding more cars is gonna make it worth more. Like, really think about it. Remember when we were talking about the value of games, as opposed to their price, right?
Yeah.
Like,
what would they be worth?
yeah, that's
If we just
here's
put it out,
the here's the thing.
No, that would be a sick experiment. Like if you had 5 games and he says, how much do you think these would be worth? Like how much would you pay?
Yeah,
That'd be fascinating.
yeah, and like they could have done it like Forza, Motorsport 4, the Essentials Edition. You pay less to get less stuff, and then you want to pay full price to get all the cars and all the content. Then you can go ahead and do that. I think that would make sense. Like imagine you have
that.
Dirt 5 Basics Edition, which is like $40, and then you have
Dirt 5 Lite.
and then you have Amplified Edition, which is a full $60. And maybe that sounds ludicrous to them, right? Whatever. I haven't made the game, so I don't know how much stuff there's in it. But
if that's a good plan, because you said day one is just, removing content that was already from the game.
Yeah.
You could just make a new version, which you seem to love removing content, where you rip half of it from it and it's half the price. Easy.
Yeah.
Dude. Some people will probably buy that. Because you know what the great example of that is?
Yeah.
With Street Fighter 5, it's currently $40 for the Championship Edition, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the base game is like $10, and you think, but it's 30 more. Yeah, but the DLC they include with that bundle is worth like $90, $100 when it's not on sale. It's like 4 seasons worth of content.
Yeah,
it's not cheap to buy outside of that bundle.
Yeah, I can see that working.
I think Ubisoft do it really well because they have loads of starter editions for their games. Like I don't know about now, but you could buy Siege for like a $5, but it's got even less than the base game.
I don't remember what it's called, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's called Starter Edition. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
They did it for Forerunner on all those kind of games.
Yeah. No, I think it's something that'd be interesting because, with Forza there are so many cars in there and so many cars that I don't use. If they had a version of Horizon 4 where it only has, let's say, 150 cars, right? And you'd pay $30 on launch for it instead of 60. That would be such an easy buy for me.
That's pretty.
I mean that would be an easier buy than 60 for cars that I won't ever use. And then who knows if I ended up playing it a lot. Speaking of Horizon 4, right? Regardless of its progression and whatever, yada, 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 it has a lot of cars in it, a lot of content. It does, right? Now, I have taken issue with what they've done with the content, or rather the lack of it, but there is a lot of content there. There's a lot of cars. There's, customization for some of them, right? That is more deserving of being $60 than what I assume Dirt 5 is going to have. So for them to basically... Like, that's essentially what they're doing. They're valuing their base game at 60, and then they say, okay, this is worth 60, but these extra cards and this extra stuff, that's going to be worth more. That's how I see it. That might not necessarily be the truth, but that's just my perspective as of today. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I would much prefer something like Motorsport 4's Essentials Edition, or something that reflects that kind of a DLC plan. But yeah, Dirt 5 Amplified Edition. I'm not so sure I'm so happy with the Day 1 DLC, but it is what it is. I mean, it is this industry after all, so like, is anyone really surprised? No.
Fucking rapists. Absolute wallet rapists.
Okay.
All right.
Am I wrong? Some people bought heat monsters. That's a mental illness. That's not wallet rapists.
They're dedicated.
You need help.
Money.
That's true.
As a fellow member of the race community, you need psychiatric.
You need help.
Evaluation.
Yeah.
No, and they're gonna fail you, obviously. For heat multiple.
Of course.
But it's safe than sorry. Go figure that out.
Mm-hmm. All right. So
who was it who bought the edition of the Heat with the Polestar.
Um, I don't
Rain.
remember.
I know Rain did.
He did?
Uh,
Really?
I think he
Oh,
did. Yeah,
goodness.
he did.
Poor guy.
Yeah,
Imagine
it's
paying
kinda
like
lucky,
so
but
like wasn't it like 100
it was not
pounds or
cheap.
something?
It was not cheap at all. Fuck.
Talking about that on Reddit, some people don't have the cards yet, man.
Yeah, no, that's the
The
thing.
Oh
No,
wow.
it took Rain like something like 3 months to get the car.
and there was some people complaining now, like, bro, they don't even care about the game. Like, it's sad, but
Yeah.
you're finished,
Well,
man.
to be fair, it's
Yeah.
Heat. At least we're on the
Yeah.
same page.
Yeah, that's true. All right, speaking of Heat, one of the things that's I think could have contributed to EA not caring as much is the long-term effects of its lack of good marketing. And you guys were talking about this earlier, so I'm gonna give
Yeah.
the floor to you guys on what you guys wanted to say about marketing and also how to handle a game after it came out.
I got a really good way, specifically when it comes to handling a game in a very poor fashion. Not in the game in a way, but the way it was Overwatch. It was the Overwatch League, right? They released a character called Brigitte, and they made a new composition, a new meta that was called. It was named after the thing that used it, called Ghost, which is 3 supports and 3 tanks, no DPS. Like, I watched some matches because people said it was shit, and I was like, this is the most boring fucking thing ever. Holy
Yeah.
shit. No wonder you guys had to move from Twitch to YouTube. Those viewers were like, literally, all you heard in those matches was people at the arena and shit booing. Like, and the other teams would have to use it, because if not, you're gonna get stomped.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't use, and it's just like it trashed, it like destroyed the league. And specifically talking about handling the game bad, the devs, they tried to patch it repeatedly and buff other characters, didn't work. So they literally gave up. What they did was they changed it to a 2-2-2 role queuing. So it's like 2 DPS, 2 healers, 2 tanks. And some people say at like the higher levels, it takes like 3-4 hours of queue to get a single game. So literally all Overwatch like players and pros like who stream don't even play the fucking game anymore. It's not even worth it. Like it's like harmed the game.
Dang. Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
Visibly, like they've shown stats to like how many people like play the game at any time. It's literally a downhill on like Steam.
Sheesh.
No, not Steam.
Yeah.
Sorry, Blizz client. It's just down.
Yeah, that's both marketing and the handling of Need for Speed Heat has been abysmal.
It's trash.
Absolutely abysmal.
Like, people didn't even know they
people
existed.
always use Overwatch as a bad example. I'm like, bro, at least they like tried to do something. They did nothing. Didn't even.
Oh,
No wonder
and
you can't
people knew
don't
that
exist anymore.
yeah, just people knew they existed. Like, people saying, bro, wait, does Need for Speed? Are you
Yeah,
sure?
people didn't even know that it
legit?
came out.
That was my friend. I literally, I've already said the story a few times with Vermin. Yeah, my friend said that to me. He's like, yo, when's the new Need for Speed? I'm like, it's been out for like a month or so. He's like, huh? And because he says he's so shocked because he saw so much lead up to like 2015.
Yeah.
And like, and some for Payback. He's like, what the? There's another Need for Speed.
There's
that came
another
out?
one?
Bro.
Dude, in earlier on, early in the year 2015, I remember when they released like this, basically a black rectangle. But then if you downloaded the image and then upped its everything in Photoshop, I don't remember if I mentioned this last episode or some other episode. I might have.
I'm pretty sure it's a green Porsche, like the whole.
It's literally the cover for the game.
Yeah, and it also had a date. It had like March something.
Yeah, but they
something
didn't
like
have
that.
the icon for it. But it was still like. They really, it had meaning because it pretty much was the cover without any spoiler.
It was,
Honestly,
yeah.
It was, isn't it? Yeah.
I just think because maybe
That's great marketing. That's amazing.
It is.
Like,
Yeah, little cryptic little things like that. Oh, that's what you want to have happen.
Those are the things that they did for Street Fighter V's reveal. They would do things where if you like flip, I think like inverted it, it showed a date. I don't even I learned how that works, like doing design, but that was cool. If you flip it like that, it's the same thing where it's hidden. right in plain sight.
Oh, that's
Interesting.
And they did have small hints where, if you lowered the because there's some things in the corners that are strange, right? If you lower the brightness, they still kind of illuminate, and that's when you invert, and then there's the date. So it's like a puzzle within a puzzle.
Dude, even like Need for Heat wasn't a bad launch. Maybe if more people actually got it, it probably would have been an incentive to actually fix it.
If they had something for E3, and I know E3 demos take time, from my limited knowledge of that, and then if they also like had maybe had some more stuff at Gamescom, had trailers, if they had more stuff so that. Well, like what we were talking about, the little cryptic messages, you have a blank message on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, and you have to do something to the image in order to see what it's concealing. If you get people questioning and more people excited, more people are going to buy the game initially, and that's going to lead to it being more likely that it's going to be supported, because then there would be a reason to support it, because there's so many fans of the specific game. And it's so crazy. You can almost imagine that part of the downfall of Need for Speed was because of their lack of marketing for Heat. That's what I mean.
And because Heat wasn't even like, it was short, yes, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible.
But like, if anything, like when it comes to like the general like, not Need for Speed fan, not racing game fan, like, oh, maybe I'll pick this up, maybe I'll try it, right? You might get new fans.
Exactly.
But since they didn't, the handling wasn't even, like, 2015, like I said, my cousin got it because he was so hyped when he saw like the marketing for it.
The marketing.
Yeah, he saw it, and like I remember he hit me up because he was like, "Yo, have you seen Need for Speed?" I'm like, and in my head I'm like, "Bro, I've been fucking geeking over it for the last month." But yeah, I was like, "Yeah, it's sick." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna buy it." And later on, he said, "I haven't played Need for Speed games since Most Wanted 05 when it came out."
Dang.
So that 10 years later, that's great marketing. To make someone else who used to play games pick it up again. Fuck.
Yep.
With but the reason why he dropped it, the handling. He's came into my house and I let him play Heat, and he's like, wait, he said to me, "Why was 2015's handling so bad?" And I'm like, "Oh God, you might actually stayed on this. You got Heat. You just didn't know it existed."
Oh man, yeah.
I think
it's unfortunate.
It's bad situation.
Yeah.
Also, when it comes to,
but I mean,
the E3 reveals.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So with Tekken, they have the Tekken World Tour, which is the World Championships, right? And they do like character and DLC reveals, right? Like all the people at I think in Bangkok it's like a 50,000 person arena. They're all hyped up from watching matches, and now you reveal a new character like after like the whole as it's starting to simmer down, and they fucking explode. The whole building explodes into like roaring cheers.
Interesting.
Like I think the biggest one for that was probably Geese Howard. Like you can see everyone is sitting down for the reveal, and once he like pops into frame, you see and like half the crowd jump up and start shouting and cheering. It's like holy shit! Like, imagine if we had reveals like that. Need for Speed. Like,
never.
I think I got something that kind of leads to me about that.
Up, hyped up, excited, loving the game, and then you reveal DLC, which is amazing for the game, and everyone's super excited to play it.
Yeah, go ahead, Sol.
I think. Like, do you remember Anthem, that piece of shit? Anyway, I remember, I think I saw an article where they said, in the pseudo culture, basically it's like a Destiny clone, right? And said never mention Destiny, never talk about it, and but I think in a way that was stupid because they never took anything good from them, because I'm pretty sure at the time they're making it, Destiny was in a decent place. And I'm guessing. Imagine if the EA, what's it called, the Ghosts at the time, said, "Nah, don't look at Forza, don't look at other ones. Only talk about our game in the room."
Yeah.
If they looked at other things, possibly. I'm not saying they didn't. It could have helped them more, like with features and support. Like imagine if Need for Speed had like a seasons kind of thing, like Forza did.
Yeah.
And another thing I want to say. Another thing I want to say, quick time. Sorry. Yeah. Go on. I'll go after you.
Talking about the seasons thing, that's what they do in the fighting games. Like, they have a season, they'll release a bunch of new, like, updates, like, patches, characters, stages, and shit, and, like, add frame data and other things that are pretty critical
Call of
to the
Duty,
game.
even
And
Call of
my
Duty does
thing
that
is,
perfectly.
if
Right.
big, like, larger AAA games, like, fighting games aren't bad, right? But you see that, like, the devs, like the passion. If the big AAA games treated their games like that, fucking Christ, they would do so well.
They would.
Exactly.
Because actually, Forza, great example. You see the seasons thing. Yeah, like I feel like if you're not doing seasons in this day and age, where you release DLC across a year, I don't know. It's a bit, because it's also marketing. Because it's like, oh, a new season. What's in the season? You're gonna have more.
Yeah, well, they do, credit where credit's due. They do these Forza monthly live streams, like, where, the
That's
community's involved.
Oh yeah, do you remember
I think
when they
it's great.
said? I think even Ghost said we're gonna do live streams, but they never did shit.
I remember them
no,
saying
they
that,
did,
but
they
they
did.
could have done that. They could have said that.
No, they said that. Yeah, they did say that.
Oh,
I do remember.
okay.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
yo.
I was gonna say,
Nice.
like, I was gonna say on the opposite side of this, like Cyberpunk is a great example of
Yeah.
of marketing. That game has
Fantastic
been like
marketing.
100 times, and still people are gassed over it. People love it.
Yeah.
Just like obviously a few days ago that they did the Wire thing, and they showed so much
I saw
gameplay, so much information about it, and people
Yeah.
loved it. They were they were transparent
You
and
know-
showed what's going on.
I as someone who
Transparency.
at first,
Transparency.
yeah,
God,
that's
so
important.
with devs. Just being transparent means
yeah.
so much to the
Yes,
fans.
100%.
To
And
us, it
as
means so much.
as someone who didn't really care a whole lot about Cyberpunk, I actually did see some of that footage, and I'm like, all right, I'll keep looking at it, like, so
Hey,
it works.
You know how I said I never saw anything about Cyberpunk 2077 like a while ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I learned about it, and I'm probably gonna buy it.
There you go.
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
There you go.
And what I love is I've watched the gameplay like feels like over time when they show new shit, and you notice like textures, like the animations, or like the way that bullets register are just better. People are pointing out like they're actually actively working on it every time they show gameplay.
Yeah, they are.
It's like
And
good fucking Christ, it's sick.
A thing I just remembered, it's not completely the fault of marketing that Need for Speed Heat, I guess, kind of flopped the way it did. When you look at how it got handled, right? Now, granted, it didn't get that much support because it got cut off early because EA is like,
It's
okay,
like you can't have one
there are
without
not
the other.
very many. There aren't very many people playing, but if you think about it, right? They could have done something. If you think about all the updates that they did, okay, don't make a chat wheel, don't add wheel support, don't fix the gas stations, fixing your car visually, don't even add crossplay. Put all of that effort and time and energy and money into PvP, a ranked mode, right, with some exclusive things that you get every so often tied to it. I'm telling you,
people they want.
People would come back to it, and then you'd get to add all that other nonsense. Because EA is like, oh, people are playing the game now. You know what I'm saying? So, it's still not completely the fault of marketing. I think the fault of marketing put a time limit on how much time they had to save the game, and then they decided not to even try.
Yeah,
That's the issue.
Probably not worth it.
Because what also could have happened is they could have had great marketing and a fantastic launch, and then a bunch of mediocre support that nobody cares about.
Yeah, no, that's
for
the thing.
longer.
You can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta. It's like the game is now alive. You have to now support it so it can stay living.
Exactly. Yeah. It's, man. Every single time we bring up Need for Speed Heat, it's just
Sadness.
it is.
Sad
Pain.
It is.
Pain.
All it is pain.
Pain.
Speaking of pain, there are more rumors and leaks about a Hot Pursuit 2010 remaster. And first thing I'm gonna say, I know some people are really excited. It's like, oh, it's my favorite Need for Speed game. Good for you.
It's a great game.
Now I actually don't like it that much. The base Hot Pursuit 2010. This is more embarrassing to admit than it is like something that I'm so sure of. Or I guess what I'm trying to say is I guess part of my like I will expect the internet to make fun of me, and that's okay because I actually see validity in the internet making fun of me for this. I actually prefer the handling model of 2015 to hot pursuit.
Actually, wait. Let me think about it.
Dude, like
Actually, wait. The more I think about it, like I love the handling, but the thing was 2015. To me, it's slightly charming.
like, and I'm gonna be honest, right? People are gonna make fun of me.
I don't agree with that, brother.
That's completely
Yeah, no,
okay
no.
because
No,
it's
it is,
like
but you don't
okay.
have to.
Hot Pursuit 2010's handling model.
Cars on 2015.
Yeah,
Cars
yeah.
do not drive like a car.
They don't. Dude,
Yeah.
Hot Pursuit 2010's handling model is objectively superior to that of 2015. I'm 100%
Okay.
sure of that. The roads are wide enough to accommodate for the slow style and everything. They're not glitchy. There's no clipping. There's nothing, right? The handling and physics
They
model
built the-
is objectively superior to 2015. But I still
they
prefer
built the handling around
2015's.
the world.
Just like as a personal, just as a weird thing. Like I'm not gonna try to
Yeah.
claim anything other than I know it's my opinion, and it's a weird one.
No,
Yeah, it is.
No, let me
I'm
put
not
it this way,
def-
Div.
Yeah.
The effect is that 2010 handling is better than 2015 as far as
Yes.
just the functional.
Yes.
But objectively, I just like 2010 handling more. See,
Yeah.
we got fact and we got opinion.
Opinion. Yes.
It's different.
Please.
That's how we
People
do it.
understand the
That's how it
difference.
works.
Yeah.
I don't think some don't. I feel.
Yeah. For me, it's just Hot Pursuit 2010. It's just the molasses handling model. It's so slow to go around.
Molasses.
That's what it feels like, man.
Quicksand.
Like it's like driving a boat, but actually in molasses. That's
I
what
will
turning
say
a
though,
car
it's
feels
very
like.
the
Crew
handling
two
model
boat.
is very easy, in my opinion. In 2015,
Yeah.
it was very
So-
easy.
You know, in the crew too, when you have those, what are the boats called? The
Power
the
boats.
where-
No.
No, the really tiny cool ones. They used
Jet-
to be fast
jet
and
sprint.
really-
Hijack from
Jet
Black
sprint.
Ops 2.
Yeah. That's how it feels like after the
No,
fucking
dude, Hot Pursuit, like you take a nimble, agile, like a Porsche 911 GT3, it'll feel more like
a slab.
it'll feel more
like
like a
Honda Odyssey.
yeah.
Honda
No,
Odyssey.
no. The Porsche is gonna feel more like a
18-wheeler.
powerboat in the Crew 2 than a jet sprint. Jet sprints are more nimble than cars in Hot Pursuit 2010. But all right, whatever that aside.
Yeah.
Also, just the pursuit tech was just, like. Honestly, and I know people are like, oh, you're only saying that because, you're a fan of the tuner era of Need for Speed, and
To
you
be
weren't
fair,
there when.
I
No,
will
because
give them this.
I've played
Hot
the.
Pursuit 2010.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will give them this. The pursuit tech, the way it was handled and the balancing, was better than Rivals.
Oh, it definitely
I
was.
kind of like Rivals in the regard that it was so fucking chaotic.
Yeah, I like. It's
and-
kind of like
yeah.
a. Yeah, no, I get you, but
And to be fair, it kind of had, counters to it. And it's like, well, they tap you, you lose half your health, but you ram them and lose a quarter, and then they take a 10.
yeah, it's really weird.
It's like, that's a bit, that
Really
is
weird.
unbalanced as fuck.
It is. But the point I was trying to make is, I've played the first Need for Speed. I've played High Stakes,
same.
and I've
no,
played Hot
just the-
Pursuit 2, right? Like
the road
High
impact
Stakes
Need for Speed.
is insane, right? Fantastic handling model, no nonsense pursuit tech. There's genuine progression throughout the game. You
Actually,
you
yeah.
earn money and stuff, and you buy stuff. I played the PS1 port. I know some of them are slightly different, but you actually had performance upgrades, very basic ones, very very basic ones, right? You had progression, you had everything, right? That's not me saying that, oh, it's because I prefer the tuner era of Need for Speed. While I do prefer it, and that's what I grew up with, right? That's not why I don't like Hot Pursuit 2010. The reason why I don't like Hot Pursuit 2010 is because the handling model is so slow and sluggish and frustrating, and because the progression is a little weird, but not that bad. And the pursuit
Yeah,
tech,
it's strange.
the
I'll say
pursuit
that.
tech.
It felt weird.
Yeah, and the pursuit tech too. But regardless, right? There's more information about a remaster of Hot Pursuit 2010, and initially, I think it makes no sense. But the more you think about it, the more it does, right? And I'll get to that later. So this more information, I think, from the same person, Jeff Grubb, if I'm not incorrect. And this kind of does negate the theory from the last episode that he was mistaken about it, and he was thinking about it being an Underground remaster, and then, the way he replied to the one tweet, and the way Need for Speed Twitter replied to the certain tweet, and then all this and that, If you want to go see that conspiracy theory, put on your tinfoil hats and go to last episode about an Underground 1 remaster, right?
Yeah.
This kind of does negate it a little bit if he's more confident in this information. At first it doesn't really make sense, but the more you think about it, it does become more clear. So EA doesn't have much to do with the Switch and Nintendo, at least before EA Play. But during EA Play, they're like, hey, we do care about the Switch, and there's going to be 7 EA games coming to the Switch, 2 of them being Burnout Paradise and Apex Legends, right? So there's 5 other EA games. And then this article comes out saying, hey, this is one of the ones that could happen. So, EA, the only Need for Speed game that EA has on the Switch would be Hot Pursuit 2010 Remastered if it does happen. It would be the first Need for Speed on the Switch, right? And they probably, if they're going to announce, hey, we're going to now support the Switch, they're going to want a Need for Speed game on the Switch. Hot Pursuit 2010 is one of the only Need for Speed games where both the critics and the fan base liked it. Think about that, right? Now, I don't represent the core fan base, so I know I don't like it, but I know a lot of people, both on the more favorable towards the Underground era and also those who prefer the Hot Pursuit style games, like 2010. And honestly, I still enjoyed the multiplayer. I thought the multiplayer was great.
Multiplayer's fun as fuck, yeah.
Yeah, it was. And it had great PvP.
So fun.
So both the critics and the fan base liked it. Rivals. There's a bit of a disconnect between reviewers and the fan base. Same with Most Wanted 2012 to a certain extent. And then with
what
2015.
About 2005?
2000. I'll get to that. I'll get to that. So like the run. I'll talk about this some other time, but I did play the actual version of the run for the first time, and not the 3DS. And it didn't get good reviews. The game was short, and some people weren't so happy with that. 2015 Payback, etc. You get what I'm saying, right? And then in those games, it doesn't matter if the fan base likes it. Also, the critics didn't. Heat might have gotten good reviews, and also, as a base game, is generally well liked. It's just only after its lack of support has caused people to look back at it negatively.
Do you know what I think the thing about Heat's reviews is?
Yeah.
The thing is,
I think they address.
if you played the length of how a reviewer did, if they played all the way through the game, finished it or things and then stopped, probably great game.
All right,
but there's nothing to continue.
There's nothing to keep doing.
If you're a fan and like that, there's nothing.
A lot of reviewers said it was pretty decent anyway. I remember even IGN gave a review, which is like,
but the thing is, like, they didn't actually address clipping, which they should. They definitely. I'm 100% certain they encountered it. They didn't address clipping. They didn't address like actual online multiplayer. And I understand, they didn't have much time to. But like, I looked at some older reviews and they were ripping into the run for having like really bad netcode or something, apparently, at some point for its online multiplayer from old reviews, right? So they gave it a higher score than it should have gotten, but regardless, right? In general, like, if you don't consider what happened with the game support and I guess the community's opinion of it after the fact, right? Both the critics and people generally liked it, but it might be too demanding for the Switch. And I don't even mean it as a game, but their ability to optimize it, right? If you look at Heat's optimization on PC, it is all over the place. All over the place. For reference, my desktop PC perfectly plays it. My laptop, which, although it is a bit less powerful, is not completely way off. So my laptop has some laptop processor i7. I don't remember, being honest. I think it's a 7th gen. With the HQ or whatever the heck at the end of it. And a GTX 1650 Max Q. So yeah, it does throttle and all that, whatever. When plugged in, right, it can do Need for Speed 2015 at high or medium preset at 60 frames. A solid 60. Full HD. I think on the high preset. Forza Horizon 4, once again, 1080p, around the high preset with maybe some minor changes, and 60 frames. Need for Speed Heat, low, 36, right? There's a big gap there. Something that can play Forza 1080p 60 high should play at least, maybe 1080p 60 medium, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe even low. But why is it at like 30? It's around 30, right? It's bizarre. In my desktop PC, I got a little lucky. I got lucky with it. My desktop PC does play it quite well. I got around like 60 to 80 frames a second, 1080p max settings with the GTX 1080. And I know some friends who have an RTX 2070, and they have to play it at less settings because it doesn't run as well.
It's not optimized there.
Yeah, and some people with the 1080 Ti and it runs worse.
Borderlands 3 was like that. Some people who literally had Titans, like it ran worse than like a 1080.
That's
not
absurd.
For it.
Imagine you shelled out.
That's why Borderlands 3 got so much flack for their poor optimization. Like it was like the higher you went, literally it got worse.
Oh my gosh. That's so broken.
It's insane.
Yeah, imagine you pay like $3,000 for your RTX 28 billion Ti, and then it just runs worse.
I was gonna say, like, when I upgraded to AMD, you know when everyone used to have those pressure streaming issues where it's really blurry till you get close.
Yes.
That's what happened to me in Need for Speed, man. Like, what the fuck?
Bizarre.
Like, how can I can't optimize something like that? And also, I think on Switch, the best game, in my opinion, they should do remaster. If they're going to do an old game, would be Most Wanted 2005, because I think it's got a mix of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at least it's got customization, and it's got a decent story, a decent map.
Yes.
Like Underground, some people won't like the first Underground because it's not open world and all that.
Yeah,
and it hasn't got
still.
police. I think 05 would be the best in both worlds.
Yeah,
and I'm sure they could put that.
But you see, there are still more factors to consider, and maybe they're not in our favor, but there are still a lot more factors. I guess one way I could quickly, summarize my point is they didn't know how to optimize the PC port there. I don't think they're going to do well with it on Switch.
To be fair, also, just to chuck in, I feel like I have to say this because that is such a, like, it sounds like a real wild claim. It was, Layman Games said that, he tested it on his 1080 he has, like, at the, like, office, and he tested it on his, like, home PC, which is a Titan, and it actually ran better on the 1080. He said that in this video, and he actually showed footage of it, did. It ran better. It was like when these huge particles, the Titan, like I guess the game kind of is, but on its, like, from, say, if, like, you threw shit tons of grenades, and there is one weapon which is just, like, full explosion in it. That's like the one gun where, like, if you're using that on, like, one of the cars that, like, really optimized, you're gonna be dropping them frames.
Yeah, you probably are.
Yeah, in a gunfight, you're gonna drop frames.
This sounds bad. Like, what the hell was I thinking? But
yeah. Anyways,
there's a lot about that game. What were they thinking?
It's important to mention that, again, last gen games are going to be easier to port than current gen games, just because of the fact that the Switch has less hardware potential because it is a portable system. Some say that people would do Hot Pursuit because it runs in the same engine as Burnout Paradise, and they already got Paradise running on the Switch, so they'd figured out. That's not entirely true, but I kind of get what they're saying. Paradise ran on Renderware, but Hot Pursuit 2010 ran on Chameleon, and some interviews from the developers...
2012?
2012 was a further modified version of Chameleon. So think of, like, Pro Street and Undercover. Pro Street was on... I want to say EA Graphics Library 3, then they updated it.
Version of that.
Yeah, like, it didn't run on the exact same, they updated it, I think. I could be wrong, right? But anyways, the Chameleon engine, it's more like a successor to the version of Renderware they use. I mean, they were saying in an interview that, like, it's more of like the Burnout Paradise engine version, like a 2.0 rather than a 1.1. You get what I'm saying, right? Whatever. I get the spirit of what they're saying, right? I guess it would make some sense because they have some knowledge. Because some of the code, according to them, I think it was Richard Parr or whoever at the time, was saying that some of the code is actually just copied and pasted from Paradise's engine, which I think is Renderware. So there's still some truth to it that it would be easier than something that would be harder. Now, I think that fans would appreciate an Underground 1 or 2, or as you were saying, a Most Wanted '05 remaster with more cut songs. And like, even if you cut out all of the songs, right, removed all the cars you don't have licenses for, maybe added the cars that you do have licenses for, like a Skyline 2000 GTR, right? Put that in there because, you have the license and all of that stuff. And you had Spotify integration, which should be possible because, hey, if Dangerous Driving, an indie game, can do that, then Need for Speed can too. I think people would appreciate that more than a Hot Pursuit 2010 remaster. I genuinely do. Or even, a Hot Pursuit 2 remaster, or a Hot Pursuit 1, or a High Stakes remaster, Take out all the stuff that's going to give you licensing problems, and I think people would still appreciate it more. But you see, doing that is expensive. It's expensive. You have to remodel a lot of stuff. You have to remake like so many, like the different locations. You see, it all makes sense when you think about it with Hot Pursuit 2010. If you look at it this way, right? EA, they have announced that they're going to support the Switch a bit. They want a Need for Speed game on Switch just because they haven't had one, and also because racing games on Switch are kind of few and far between, mainly because it doesn't have analog triggers, which I think is a really stupid decision. Nintendo, get on that. They want a Need for Speed game on Switch that both fans and critics like, and that it's going to run well on the Switch. They also want a newer title so that there are less licensing issues, and they want a game that already looks good so that you don't have to put that much time or money or effort into it, right? And then you also don't want it to be expensive to remaster. So it's, again, more points. More, I guess, signs point to it being new. They want, if you have it on Switch, you might as well remaster it on other platforms. Hence, the rumors is coming to PC and console. So when you take into all that stuff into consideration, Hot Pursuit 2010 makes sense. Hot Pursuit 2010 remastered completely makes sense, right? If you think about it, they want a game on Switch that's Need for Speed. They want it to run well. They want it to look already decent so that remastering it is going to be cheap and it isn't going to require money or time and effort. And they want something that both critics and fans are going to like. It's all the pieces fit. That's not saying that I'm excited for it or that I even want it, but I understand. I completely understand why. At first, it doesn't seem like a wise decision to remaster 2010 and put it on Switch. But again, once you think about it, it all kind of fits together. So yeah, we're nearing towards the end here, so I want to quickly move to the next thing. Project Cars 3 got some more information, and the thing I want to focus on is how it's not going to have pit lanes or tire wear or fuel wear. My initial opinion on this, I think that's a stupid decision. I mean, how are you going to have a sim game without tire wear and fuel wear? But when you look at stuff more and when you think about it, the developer said in 2018 that it would be a Need for Speed Shift spiritual successor. They said that in interviews in 2018, right? So, am I really all that surprised? I was initially, until I remembered. Now, again, I don't actually agree with what they've done by removing that stuff. I think it adds a layer of strategy to it, and it makes things more realistic, adds to the gameplay. I think it would just make more sense. But regardless, that's just the decision. I think people are flipping out when it's a bit ridiculous because they already said this. It's going to be more of a simcade kind of geared towards
Oh, did they say
more
that?
of a casual. Yeah, they did months
Okay,
before.
fair
I
enough.
think
Yeah,
with this
yeah,
one,
yeah.
Yeah, they
have
definitely
a lot
did.
more people buying the game. But in my opinion, I think they should have done as an option where you can turn it off while playing it.
Just make it
Yes,
full release,
yes. I mean, obviously, there's more effort
sick,
to
like
develop.
if the difficulty modes were like arcade, simcade, and then like sim.
Yeah, like they want it to. They're basically claiming it's still very realistic, very, very, very realistic, more realistic than Project Cars 2, according to them, in terms of driving feel and everything. Like they say, it's a full-on sim, but it's also accessible. It can also be accessible. Again, now it's not a huge deal for me when I think about it because I'm not really huge into Sims. It's not, I might not be the right demographic. I know there are people who are going to really care about tire wear and fuel wear and pit lanes a lot more than I do. So I might not be the actual demographic. But when you think about it, I might be the target demographic because I enjoy Sims, but I'm not huge on them. So like this would be the game for me. But personally, I just don't care about this game anymore. I know I mentioned in that one episode where we first brought it up that I was excited about Project Cars 3 for some reason because I thought, hey, it'll be completely realistic, but it'll also have an aspect of progression and, purchasing and upgrading vehicles, tuning vehicles, and all of that good stuff. But now I just don't care. I completely don't care. By the way, it's coming out in August. Yeah,
well, I don't care about the game, but I just hate to see like racing games do something that might not be the best. I just hate it. It's a damn genre, bro.
Yeah, no, but like the way people are overreacting. I mean, it's because of the name Project Cars 3. If they got the license and called it Need for Speed Shift 3 and like, oh, Need for Speed Shift 3 is not going to have tire and fuel wear or pit lanes, who do you think is going to be upset about that? Like who, right? Think about it. People are just reacting off of gut instinct, and I did at first too. When you actually look at things and actually think about things, it's not a huge deal, right? And if you don't like it that much, then maybe it's not even for you.
Out yet, so
the game's not even out yet.
Haven't experienced it.
Yeah, I heard some people saying, oh man, this is gonna be bad because now Forza is gonna annihilate it. Oh, now here's the thing. Here's why I think it's stupid, and people might think that I'm gonna say, well, hey, Forza's physics have never been super realistic yet, and who's to tell? But no, what I'm gonna say is this: neither the next Forza nor this game have come out, so it'd be stupid to say anything about either. That's what I really think. Like in terms of this stuff, but honestly, like in terms of from what I know now, and from what I hear and what I see, I was excited for this game a bit before, and I don't care anymore. And that's not from anything that they did specifically. It's just in general. It's just like, yeah, I just don't care anymore. But their decision to not have pit lanes and not have tire and fuel wear doesn't really impact that. It's just in general, I just don't care.
Don't give a fuck about that game.
Yeah, I'm looking
that might be a bit easy to understand.
Yeah.
Don't give a fuck about that game.
I'm looking forward to it as something to get on sale. Get it.
I'd love to try it.
If it's like, or if they have a demo, see if it's fun. Yeah, and I know that this, I guess, podcast doesn't really get a lot of traction, and if it did for this episode in terms of sim racing fans, like, oh man, this guy's basically defending Project Cars 3's, basically they're making it more accessible and less
and
hardcore sim.
I
don't care.
As a boy
I guess, yeah, sure, whatever.
Sims as well.
Yeah.
I will say, if they said it's a simcade,
I should rephrase. They did not say it was a simcade. I should rephrase. They did not say it was a simcade.
Okay.
That was my bad. But they said that it was going to basically be a Need for Speed Shift spiritual successor, and that it's going to be accessible to people, and they're going to make it more open to people, and all of that stuff.
Fair.
So
I would still say it would be nice just to have it as an option.
Yeah, it would.
But like, I wouldn't say it's like,
every
fuck about the game.
Like other sims, like Assetto Corsa and the previous Project Cars, right? They've been options, right? Here's what actually makes the decision. They don't actually say they're going to do this so that they make the experience better. No. The whole point is that either you have the choice or you don't, and if you don't have the choice, you either have one with more effort or less effort. I don't think I explained that correctly. So let me start over. What I mean is, right, in those other games, you have the choice to have tire wear, fuel wear, and pit lanes. And you can choose to turn it off. They basically said, okay, we think that enough people will see it as a shift successor or will not really care too much about it because of what we've said about it. So we're just going to not put in the effort to make it, right? of course, the best case scenario would for it to be optional. That would, of course, be the best case scenario. You know, everyone would prefer for it to be optional. Of course, that's just how things are. The reason why they did not make it, why they removed pit lanes and all that stuff, is not really because they wanted to say, hey, this is how we want you to play the game. If it was in the game, it would have been optional anyways, right? That's just how the games like this work. You're not going to buy a brand new game and it's like, oh, you can only drive in manual transmission, right? You either have automatic or both. Think about that, right? Think about that.
That'd be so awkward.
Yeah.
Because some people, to be fair, the Sim boys and some of them in some regard are like the fucking like dudes who like manual is the only way to fucking live.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, like, when I play games, I almost always go manual. It's just more enjoyable to me. But like at the end of the day, I don't care too much. And you know,
like
I've dealt with the, you know, like I understand that. I guess what I'm saying, kind of halfway defending Project Cars 3 might rustle the jimmies of the old sim racing community, but I've had
Fucking
like
losers.
people in real life tell me that, oh, I don't play Burnout because I do go-karting and it might make me worse, or it's not gonna make me better. So like even if I like it, I hate arcade racers because it's gonna make me worse. Like I've met people in real life so neurotic that they're like, you know what? No, I don't want to play this. I don't want to do this thing for fun because it might make me a worse real life racing driver. I have experienced the worst of the worst. Nothing anyone can say to me on the internet is going to be worse than that.
Please, from the bottom of my heart, kill yourself.
Okay, don't go there.
This is funny. Specific point.
I would not say that.
As the karting thing. Yeah, I grew up karting. No, I don't think it fucking affects my real life driving because it's a video game. Holy shit.
Like, and granted,
Also,
These people
is
are
it kind of
insane.
like?
Fucking
Isn't it kind of like the
maniacs.
guys? Isn't it kind of like the guys who hate the new Mark V Supra because it's not manual, and to say the 2JZ is the best when they can't even afford that?
I don't know. Maybe, yeah,
I think
maybe.
it's so funny because
These
they
are the
love
guys
it.
with those CVTs who
When they
don't
talk
even know
about-
what
I love it
manual
'cause-
even is.
I love it because I love to dismantle
Oh, man.
those losers about the 2J. They always say, "Oh, it's superior, you know, good in motorsports." No, it wasn't. They fucking throw it out the Supra. It was a useless piece of shit. They put it in the GTE.
Yeah.
That thing sucked. They were literally like back markers and then turned into like.
The car
dominant
wasn't even made.
monsters when
I'm sure the car was made for touring. Was it even made for racing or something?
Yeah,
like
it
that?
was more of a
it
grid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fun fact about that: the GT500, the JGTC Supra, it's like
Yeah.
nearly built from the ground up. It's very, very unlike the actual Supra. And
So, but
just
Makes
about
sense.
the only thing that's a Supra about it is the general outside look, not the underframe, like the tubing. and all that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Nothing is Supra
Just
about
what it
that
looks like on the
anyway.
outside.
It's what it looks like in the name. That's about it.
And then, yeah,
Like them Supras were demons though.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
but the base ones with the 2J and all that pieces of shit, back losers, get off the
Yeah.
fucking track.
Yeah, but like once again, man, I've dealt with the worst of the worst because you know, at college, almost all of the friends that I have are all sim racing guys, and that's completely fine. You know, some of them are normal real life people outside of their hobby, and that's not their whole personality. But hey, not everyone's like that. It's frightening, man.
Those people are weird.
Oh yeah, I only
like-
play
that's your-
Sims,
your
bro.
bias thing
I don't
about
play
that.
anything else. I don't play any other video games. Like I get it, but it's like like the way they just present that is like, bro, do you
sound
do
like
things
they
for
sound
fun?
Like they sound like fucking fanatics.
Yeah, it's wild.
it's like
It sounds like
you make yourself look bad.
All I do is
Immediately,
Assetto Corsa and make stuff on SolidWorks, bro. That's all I do in my free time. Like, I want to throw up.
Shout SolidWorks.
Yeah, you know, great program, but it is some of the people who use it have made me think certain things. You know, let's not get into that. Let's not.
Certain things.
Because, you know, it's a benefit that this isn't going to be seen by a lot of people. I could imagine I go back next semester and like, yo, I heard you talking crap about me and in SolidWorks. Like, no.
No, man. I
Um,
heard you talking shit about sim racing.
Oh man, yeah. You know, let's just end the conversation here.
It's fun, it's
But
fun.
I'll tell you what. Like honestly, I like if that's all you do, I really I don't care. Just don't shove it in my face, please. That's all I ask for. Like if that's all you do,
No.
completely fine, completely fine. You know, 100%. I don't like it when it's shoved in my face. That's it. And
Yes.
honestly, I think that's a good send off to this episode. So people leave
Please
comments.
shove it in my
Oh,
face.
actually, you know what? Wow, I'm such a degenerate. I didn't even check comments in the last video because I didn't get a notification for a comment for the last video. So you know what I'm gonna do really quickly is go ahead and actually in real time go see if there were comments. I really doubt it because I didn't get notifications. But then again, notifications are really iffy for me for YouTube comments. There have been times, and I think I've mentioned this before, where I'll get a notification for a YouTube comment, and then like it gets cut short, and I can't read the whole thing. So then I go to the video, and it's not there anymore. It's just gone, just vaporized, right? So that's just one of those things where you never really know. And we did have a comment. Oh,
Good old YouTube, baby.
I mean, actually, like that's fantastic. Okay, it wasn't about any more stuff, but it was by the homie Maximus Overdrive. Shout outs to you. Always leaving the comments and stuff like that. The actual, yeah.
True believer of the ceremony. He's the believer.
Yeah, no.
Our
I
follower.
actually, you know, like anytime any of you guys leave comments, it's reassuring. Like, hey, we're not just talking into dead air. So
Yeah, the void.
I really
We're
appreciate
speaking
it.
to the void.
Just in the void, man. Yeah. So I do appreciate the comment. It doesn't look like you, I guess, suggested anything for topic, which is great because we're near the end here. And I'll be better about that. I'll be better about checking for comments because again, I didn't get a notification for that one. I did not get a notification for that. So you know,
YouTube will be like that, broken.
yeah, I wish YouTube was I guess better with that, but you know, I should also take more responsibility with that, and I will going forward. So yeah, if there is nothing else to add, we will see you guys all in the next one.